So, your uncle. What's wrong with him?
He's possessed.
As in the devil?
Something like that. He says a dark man is following him, watching him at all times.
What do you make of it?
It's nonsense, of course, but I'd be lying if I said it didn't bother me. You see, it runs in my family.
Possession?
No, Detective. Deteriorating melancholy. Practically every member of the Hartwood family is driven mad before they grow old.
But Jeremy didn't kill himself. Is that why he's at your setup?
Despite being convinced that he is truly possessed, he decided to put his last chips on Dr. Gray and his psychoanalysis, figuring he might stumble upon some cure.
You mentioned a letter.
I received a disturbing letter from Jeremy accusing the staff and all the other patients of being involved in some cult. And now they are also out to get him.
Could it be real? Or is it all just in his head?
It's a story he tells
Hey,
himself,
what up?
Mr.
Yeah,
Granby.
I think I'm off today. I got a call from somebody from work and they're like, never mind, we're good. Are you sure?
That we're all terribly
So,
insane.
at the moment, I'm off.
That people mean so very little to one another.
Gotta make it up until 1,
That there
and
is
then I
no
definitely
one
don't have to
get
go
Jeremy
in.
Hartwood because he isn't worth getting.
Here we are.
My uncle's not well, Mr. Carnby. I want to make sure he's all right.
Then what's my part in this? You couldn't get a cab?
I just wouldn't feel safe going alone. Did you bring a gun?
Yeah. You think it'll actually come to that?
No. But you might need to wave it around depending on how agreeable the staff will be.
What exactly are we gonna do when we find Jeremy?
I don't know. Let's just find him first.
I can't. This is in all these games. This is the character that you always play as. I mean, there's in the first game there is definitely a girl, but to me it's like you pick him. Where I feel like the game is about her. There's that Alone in the Dark movie. I forgot who's in it, but I think they're supposed to be playing Edward Carnby. What the heck is that guy's name?
Hello?
Christian
So
Slater.
quiet.
Holy shit, I haven't thought
Where
about
is
that name in a
everyone?
long time.
This is a big place. Maybe they're on the other side of the house.
Stay here. I'll have a look.
This is one of those games that I think came out like I don't know if I pre-ordered that. I know I was interested in it, even though I've touched a lot of the Alone in the Dark games. But something about this game, like coming back, and them randomly being like, "Hey, we're making a new Alone in the Dark," just out of the blue. I was like, "Yeah, why not?" So I picked it up, and this game came out this year. To me, all right. So I'm going like this is definitely a budget game, not budget. It's not a triple A, like it's not on the level of like Resident Evil. But that's okay. It's also not one of those like weird indie like YouTuber games either. So I like the idea of, like a mid-range horror game being around. Problem is, it didn't make a lot of money, and I think the studio shut down like right after this came out. Like they put out like an update or two and that was it.
What's this?
Got a really big clue. Wow. Make sure my phone's in the charger. Phone in the dark. 2020. What? Oh, it's not 29, 24. Okay. Got the air on and a blanket so I can pretend it's cold. I can pretend it's winter time. It looks like winter outside, and you go out there, you're like, yeah, it's not like super hot like it has been at this time. That's funny. Fuck, is that a Gru? I had to keep an eye on my stream. I'm looking at OBS at the corner of my eyes to make sure it's like running properly. I know the furthest I've gotten in this game
This must be older than
is like the first little combat area. And then I always drop off right there. And it's not even like a boredom thing. It's usually like, oh, the dog starts barking or somebody calls or something like that. And I can't fully focus on the game. So when I come back to it, I'm like, I'll just restart it. I'm sure they were hoping that they could have like revived this franchise. I think the idea of having a
I'll just take this.
what would I describe this as? Like a period piece horror game? Like this looks like it's not now. I don't know. I can't even place the time period this would be
Every
in.
day you're silent.
Okay, I don't need that. I think there's a room for that. Then again, I guess there's that Amnesia: The Bunker, which is like a World War I game, I think. Maybe it's World War II. Ah yes, my refrigerator bullets, of course.
Please do not touch the boiler. It is working after all. While the sabotage has caused a leak, only the decorative plate has been completely ruined. Let's wait for Mr. Chance to turn up and he can take a look at the leak. Mr. Waits.
That doesn't look safe. There's something missing.
If I remember right, the way this game starts is like, this is happening now. But I feel like all of a sudden it's just creepy land and there's no real explanation. I need to look up what's going on with fucking mirrors in games right now, because this shit is so weird. Alan Wake has this issue too, where like the mirrors don't work, but in that game I thought it was like on purpose. But I noticed some reviews mention that same thing, where they're like, I don't understand what's up with the mirrors. Display, no. Video. Graphics preset, let's go with epic. Cinematic. The hell is the difference? Whoa, look at that epic toilet seat.
Now what's this?
Sunday, June 22nd. I spent all day looking for Jeremy. I should have cared for the others, but I'm scared that he will do something irreversible. Cassandra is upset that I didn't give her the latest shipment of pain medication that Waits brought from the post office yesterday. I would have given it to her, but the company didn't send a new key this time around, so the box is just sitting there on my desk. They must have figured we had plenty of their gimmicky keys by now. I only remember seeing one lately. Grace was playing with it inside the grand parlor. Unless it turns up by itself, it will have to wait. I have to figure out where Jeremy is. I think Jack knew something. That dog of his found a strange rot permeating the house. She's showing us, he said. Like those blots and streaks of fetid rot was talking to him.
It's wet shut. It looks important. I need the key.
Wait, don't.
Excuse me? Do you know where I can find Jeremy Hartwood?
Of course not.
McCarthy, what are you doing? I told you not to lose sight of the girl.
Don't you worry, Mags. I'll find that little rascal.
Who are you people? What are you doing here?
I'm sorry about all this, but I'm looking for my uncle. His name is Jeremy Hartwood.
What are you doing, child? You shouldn't be alone. Go find McCarthy.
Who are you? Are you here for the Fey Dodo?
Go upstairs now.
My name is Emily Hartwood. I'm the niece of Jeremy Hartwood. This is Detective Carnby.
The police? Why are you here?
No, I'm a private investigator. Sorry to bother you. My client's worried about her uncle. He's a patient here at Derceto. If you don't mind, could you direct us where to find him?
No, I can't. Jeremy has gone missing. If you leave your information, I will make sure to contact you.
Wait, he ran away?
No, he won't leave the house. He's around here somewhere, and both of our orderlies are looking for him.
That's unacceptable. Where's Dr. Gray? I want to speak with him immediately.
Fine, I'll ask him. Wait here and don't touch anything.
Do you want to see Jeremy's room?
Can you show us?
Follow me.
There's nothing weird about those sculptures.
Thank you. Strange kid.
Let's look around, see what we can find.
I want to know what the difference is between high and cinematic. More god rays?
What kind of stuff are we looking for? I've never been part of an investigation before.
Letters, diaries, receipts, all sorts of notes.
I'm gonna drop it back down to high because I don't know. I don't know. No clue what I'm looking at here. There's all these games that come out now that do this thing where they look fine at like whatever the settings are. Like even low for some games is like, oh, this game looks better than some games do on high.
Every night the dark man stands opaque at the threshold of my room, counting the days until my spirit spills out of my tired shape. Only his pallid mask shelters my remaining sanity. Staring directly into the face of that demonic sultan would surely sunder time itself. Would he have looked the same to my father as he struggled for his life? Does his veiled face haunt my niece quite the same way? I wish so that I could rest my soul in that sunburnt convent of Teruel. Would I find you there, Juan? Or Senora Perosi, back from the beyond?
That's not how mirrors work. Huh. Interesting. Wonder if that means... Alright, so... Clearly I can see my reflection. He's in the room. I guess it doesn't render him. I wonder if that means that when you turn on... Here, let's try this out. No, that doesn't change anything. That's weird. The audacity of having a puzzle like that where you don't have to actually slide anything around. Pick up the tiles and move. It's pretty dumb. Barely a puzzle to me.
Have you ever seen anything like this? Looks like a talisman.
You mean like this one?
Can you find me a knife to cut the canvas? I want to take this with me.
You want to take the painting? Sure, I'll find one.
Alan Wake looking stuff right there.
I found this tube as well. Should keep it safe for you. Do you want to carry it or should I? Miss Hartwood. Emily?
I'll take it. Thank you.
We're done here, right?
I'm not sure. I don't know how to do any of this.
Listen, I think we should talk to Dr. Gray. He must know something about what's going on around here.
Okay. Let's do that.
Come on, I don't want to be here all night.
Detective Carnby? Where did...
This is when stuff just changes. She looks at the painting and then that happens and it's just like, what? But it all happens so quick.
What on earth is happening? What is this place?
So, as I mentioned before, one of the things I think is cool, or the reason I'm happy this game exists, and I'm kind of bummed that the studio it's gone now, that like, I feel like you get the big budget horror games, and then you also get the like streamer style like jump scare filled games, but you don't really get anything that fits into this like middle category like this game does. And this game, from what I remember when I tried it out, because this is about as far as I got, is it has a lot of jank, as the kids call it. We'll see. I do appreciate the setting yet again.
I can't go that way. This can't be.
So it's a cool aesthetic. Howdy.
I can't go that way.
I mean, good day. Oh, man. I have to remember how that flashlight. I don't know what that is. I gotta look that up.
Emily, that you?
Baptiste?
How'd you get here?
I was back at Derceto. Looking for my Uncle Jeremy?
Jeremy's your uncle. I didn't know.
Why would you? You're still working at Derceto?
Yeah, both me and Lotta stuck around. We're real orderlies now. You remember my sister Lotta, don't you?
Crow Country is $17.99 right now.
What happened, Baptiste? How are we here?
You know about the dark man haunting your uncle?
I'm familiar with his mental state.
I think we all in his head somehow. Because these streets are real, but they're not like on any map. Nah, this is like when you remember something, but in the wrong way.
Do you know how to get back to Derceto? I'm not safe here.
Truer words have yet been spoken, Mrs. Marcus.
Don't call me that. It's Miss Emily Hartwood.
I've
There's no reason to
never
call me
heard of
anything
this
else.
before.
I'm sorry, Miss Emily. I'm just trying to tell you
I've never heard of
this
creature
place ain't
cases
safe
before.
for no one.
I just saw a
There's
picture
evil
of it.
hiding in the dark.
How do I get back?
Only Jeremy knows how. He
I've
has
never
this
finished
huge
Undertale,
necklace
so
guy.
I haven't
You mean this
touched
palace?
Deltarune. Actually, no, I downloaded the first chapter of Deltarune,
Just like it. He says it's been protecting him ever since he got it from Miss
but I
Jackson.
had no
down the
reason to
street.
play it because I
Nor
should
a
probably
kid.
finish it.
Have you been
The reason I
there?
didn't finish
I was there
Undertale
no more than
because
1
people
hour
wouldn't
ago
stop
looking
talking
for
about how
Jeremy.
amazing Undertale
Locked it up
was.
to keep the ghouls from getting inside. You can have the key if you want.
Thank you. I'll take a look.
Stay safe, miss.
I had owned Undertale before it blew up. I wish I played it back then. But what happened is the second I would load the game up like on Steam, people would like message me and be like, "Oh man, this part in this game is so cool. I can't wait to see how you respond to this." It's like, you know what? I'm just not gonna play it. Good. But it's still there. It still has that kind of like. You don't hear people talking about Undertale as much, but it's still definitely a thing that, like, you know, when you turn it on, it pops up and somebody will start talking about it.
Are you staying here?
Yeah, there's a handful of games that are like that. Outer Wilds, Worlds, whatever the indie one is another game that has that thing where, oh man, you can play like again for the first time. It's not a spoiler thing. It's just the thing about, like, you know, here, and I'm like, I just kind of wanted to play this. Anything else? Interesting. Inside the building. Wait. App for some. hit some of those weird janky combat sequences.
Now what's this?
Wait, what? What is happening? Does this break? What the fuck is that? I think it looks exceptionally stupid. That might just be me being a hater though, so. I hit it?
My weapon broke.
I guess your weapons break. Uh-uh. I got another weapon.
I can't go that way.
Can't go that way. I've got these extra buttons in the back of this controller that don't do anything, and I think I need to bind them to something, but I don't know what I would use them. It's so rare for me to like actually use the back buttons on controllers. What are we doing? What are we doing? What a waste. I see the thing there. Give it to me. Thank you. I'm only using the zoomed in view because I can look at some strange ritual. Watch that movie, The First Omen. This section here reminds me of a scene from that. That movie is it's on Disney Plus, which is the best part about it. Oh lord. Okay. Way she dodges, like, man, like football or something. Nope, I take that back. this shit all the way around. Die? Thank you. Jeepers. Juju. Great. Mouse cursor is back in the middle of the screen. It's all good. Something else gonna pop out of here.
This must be Miss Jackson's place. Let's see if we can find out
Sorry,
more
Miss
about
Jackson.
Jeremy's talisman. It looks exactly like Jeremy's talisman. I think it's meant to hold the talisman. I'm not sure what numbers I should use. Maybe there's something in Jeremy's notes.
What? What the hell? Just realized that there's numbers here. This is, come on. I have to try to solve something. Great. Make me use my damn brain. She won't even engage with the door right now. Disappointing. Nope. That shouldn't be anything down there. Three numbers needed to span a bridge between escapes of dream and memory. In the stern. Not where I want to be. Start through. I wonder if that's there normally. That's really.
What's that picture in the glass? Where is that?
Good to see you again, Miss Hartwood. Mrs. Thompson told me you were here. She also alerted me that you brought a detective with you. I'm very curious to hear what this is all about. You don't remember me, do you, Miss Hartwood? We met at your family's house in the Garden District, when your uncle was about to be admitted under my care.
No, I remember. Sorry. I'm not really feeling well.
Oh, well, in that case, have a seat. Let me make you a drink. I don't seem to have made much of an impression on you. On the other hand, I can vividly recall you and your parents.
Because of our cheerful disposition, I'm sure.
You are far too intelligent to think that. You come from a joyless family, Miss Hartwood. The only amusement I took from my visit was discovering that the young lady's drink was an old-fashioned.
Very astute. Is that supposed to make you seem attentive or intelligent?
Whatever you prefer. Are you ready to tell me why you are here, Miss Hartwood? And why you brought a detective?
I received a letter from my uncle. He seems certain that he was in danger here. If I find out you're treating him badly, I'll be taking him back with me to New Orleans.
Really? Is he going to live with you in your tiny garçonniere? That would be a spectacular way to ratify your spinsterhood. Because you are well aware that your father would never let him back in his house. No, I have it. Maybe you can bring him back up north. You've been wanting to move back for quite a few years, haven't you? You always preferred your mother's side of the family. Jeremy is free to leave with you. I won't object. However, there is one problem, as you might have learned. He is, in fact, missing.
Do you know where he could have gone?
No, I'm afraid I don't. I have my staff looking for him. I'm sure he will show up eventually. Especially if he learns that you are here. He is quite fond of you.
What can you tell me about his condition? I never heard a proper diagnosis. What is your medical opinion of him?
Well, let me think. He is an anxious man, depressed, even. He suffers from a perceived lack of order in his inner and outer life. He constantly complains about events not presenting themselves according to their divine nature.
And the Dark Man?
Hard to tell if it was ever anything specific. Jeremy uses the Dark Man as a psychological scapegoat to avoid facing the truth that he is in any way at fault.
You don't think there can be any truth to the Dark Man's supernatural existence?
Why would you ask that?
Can we ever be sure?
If the Dark Man is some sort of evil presence that is in possession of Jeremy?
Well,
I assure you, any evidence that you experience supporting that claim is purely delusional. Don't get caught up in mass hysteria, Miss Hartwood. You wouldn't want to take your uncle's place in this hospital, would you?
I'll be leaving now, Doctor. I need to keep looking for my uncle.
Do so, Miss Hartwood. I'll let you know if he shows up.
Detective Carnby! God, I'm glad to see you. I was afraid you had left.
Me? You're the one who just disappeared.
It's hard to explain. I think I blacked out. It was like I went somewhere else.
It's okay, miss. You're clearly upset.
No, I don't know what's happening.
This is a very stressful situation for you, I understand.
Ugh, no, you don't understand.
Just take a deep breath. Why don't you sit down, smoke some of the Perique? If you want, I could even drive you back to New Orleans. I just want to have a talk with Dr. Gray first.
I want to stay. I found a talisman just like the one in the painting. I think I might be able to figure out where Tarawea is, where Jeremy wanted to go.
That's great. Just stay out of trouble, okay? Let me handle the investigation.
I'm not crazy, Detective. Not yet.
Okay, catch you later.
If a talisman like this can open up doors between the French Quarter and Derceto, then maybe Jeremy is hiding in some strange other world, like Tarawea. The place he mentioned in the book. No matter where he is, it's clear that my search won't be limited to to Derceto. I can't leave. I need to find Jeremy. What's that stain? Look, this must be the clock. This looks like the thing that held the talisman in the French Quarter, but it's broken and missing some pieces. Jeremy's room. All back to normal. I need the key. I need the key.
The old clock was an intricate machine with eccentric astronomic motifs, but nothing appeared particularly unusual to Emily. But then she discovered a large decorative plate that reminded her of Miss Jackson's ritual bench, where she had configured the talisman to open the door back to Derceto. The clock's plate had unfortunately been sabotaged, but if she could piece the plate back together,
I need the key.
Good evening, Miss Hartwood. That is your name, isn't it? I would be terribly embarrassed if it wasn't.
You're right. Emily Hartwood, Jeremy's niece. Nice to meet you.
Ruth Talon. Is that Perique you're smoking? How terribly quaint.
Maybe so. But I like it.
Would you care to share some? That smell is making me feel very nostalgic.
Is it all that you hope for?
I enjoy your light mockery, Miss Hartwood. I can tell we would make great friends.
How flattering. Too bad you're locked up in this place.
Your insincerity is really refreshing. I wish you were mad as I am. Then you could stay.
Give it a few years and I might just be. Lunacy is one of my family's few privileges.
Oh, good. I'll be looking forward to it.
You don't know anything about what happened to Jeremy, do you?
Everyone here is really strange, and it's hard to know what to make of anything you hear. Occasionally, it sounds quite exciting, though. Good versus evil and all that. I'm sorry, but I don't think I have anything useful to share.
It doesn't matter. Thank you for the much-needed break.
Bon voyage.
Hello there.
Are you reading anything good?
A Brightness from Afar by Lord Boleskine. It's actually not bad.
You know where Detective Carnby is?
Oh, you don't need him. You're doing fine.
Lost Plantations of Louisiana, Thierry Briclot, 1917. Derceto was a small plantation on the eastern shore of Lake Pontchartrain. The land was considered difficult for industry and was sold for only $30 to Elijah Pickford in 1818. Pickford employed hundreds of workers from nearby New Orleans to clear the woods and build a small plantation mansion facing the lake with a striking Greek Revival temple facade. Derceto kept a modest production of Perique tobacco and indigo that persisted up till the Civil War. During the antebellum era, Derceto was the source of many rumors concerning voodoo and witchcraft. People who traveled the lake reported seeing people dance at night in front of bonfires, bleating and wailing. On June 17, 1862, Captain J.W. Norton of the Union Army recounts leading a raiding party from ships anchored in Lake Pontchartrain in order to seize control of Derceto and free the slaves working there. The captain was surprised to find the workers fighting back with unprecedented zeal. Norton's account describes these men and women as enraged with fanaticism. Pickford reportedly tried to placate the raiders, but was shot in the confusion. Captain Norton left the mansion burning and retreated to his ships with his men. Derceto was left in ruins for several decades. The ownership of the land was long disputed and returned to the Ledoux family in 1901. Several police reports were filed during the following years as the Ledoux tried to get rid of a camp of squatters on their land. The police made several visits to remove the trespassers, but the people kept returning. On November 1st, 1907, Inspector Legras of the police charged a deadly attack in order to save several children kidnapped by the squatters. Many were killed, and even more were jailed. The following year, Ledoux rebuilt Derceto, incorporating the surviving stone foundation and adding a magnificent wrought iron conservatory. The farmland had been reclaimed by the surrounding woods, so it was no longer profitable to use as a plantation. Instead, the house was turned into an artist's colony. The Astarte Artist Colony was a successful group of artists, including figures such as painter Heinrich Cassel and poet Nora Keith. The group was also known for their beloved Mardi Gras crew called the Pirates of Pontchartrain. On September 29, 1915, a tropical hurricane tore through Louisiana, causing Lake Pontchartrain to flood New Orleans. Due to the remote location of Derceto, it took almost 2 weeks for outsiders to learn that the artist's colony was abandoned. The 12 residing artists had all vanished without a trace. The empty mansion of Derceto still stands on the shore of Lake Pontchartrain, with much of its temple facade intact. The Ledoux family currently has no intention of repairing the house.
It's wet shut. What is going on here? Everything's back to normal.
Misaki Nantengwen. Mempra Misaki Nantengwen. Men le Angeni Man Yo Deshena. What are you doing sneaking around? You almost scared me to death.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disturb your ritual. I wouldn't have guessed voodoo was in practice at a place like this.
The doctor may be all about science, but I know these roots have power.
You know what's going on here? I have a feeling Derceto is cursed.
There are several players with stakes in this game. Derceto isn't cursed or blessed. It's a battleground. And it would all be a lot better if you could get your uncle out sooner than later.
That's all I'm trying to do.
I wish you the best of luck, Miss Harwood. I really mean that. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to look after my gumbo.
This can't be. What's that? It worked. Now what's this? It's another piece of broken plate. There we go.
Mr. Waits. I saw a piece of the plate that Liza broke. I think she's been hiding them. She's not very good at it. She just chucked it into the little room with all the tools behind the boiler. I left it there. I didn't want to embarrass her by picking it up while she was looking. We went upstairs instead and played backgammon. I let her win, because she's so unhappy. The piece looked like the one on display in Cassandra's room. You know about that one already, right? Or is your eyesight really that fuzzy? I hope you don't feel bad about your glasses. You only look stupid when you squint. Maybe if you had more eyes, you would see these things. I wish you had all the eyes you needed. Your best and favorite guest, Grace.
It's another one of those plates for the talisman. It's also broken and missing some pieces. I need the key.